Today, we are talking about purpose, how to find your purpose. What a big can of worms. And I assume most people, if not all people, have at some point in life asked themselves a question around like, what am I doing? What am I here to do? What's life about? What's the meaning of life? What's my purpose in life? Some form of that question. And we don't get taught how to. And it's such a meaningful thing to discover and to go on that discovery journey because it lights you up intrinsically. And once you're clear on it, you can then create a life around it and you get to do what you absolutely fucking love to do every single day. And you feel fulfilled, you feel inspired, you feel confident, you've got clarity in what it is that you are and who you are and what you do. So your purpose in life is to find your purpose. I'm going to start with that. You're not going to find it in a cereal box. You're not going to find it by dialing a pizza. You're not going to find it just watching Netflix. You're going to find it by being conscious because the universe is actually revealing to you things that are meaningful to you, things that are important to you, things that bring you joy, things that bring you inspiration, but you just might not be conscious of it. I certainly wasn't. I was just going through life, I guess, in that zombie hypnosis mode, day to day, week to week, month to month, reacting to the world, letting my emotions very much dictate the quality of life that I lived, and I wasn't conscious. So what I would love to do out of this video with you guys, or this podcast, however you're watching this, is I want to give you some consciousness. That's the biggest thing here. I'm going to give you some really practical tips and some really practical things that you can do, but consciousness is the key. Consciousness allows you to then put awareness or bring that unconscious to conscious. So that's my first point is your purpose in life is to find your purpose. You're not going to find it just by ringing a phone number, by watching a movie, it's not in a cereal box. You gotta pursue it. Your purpose reveals itself as you turn the lights on, as you put the consciousness on, and you start to go a little bit deeper, start to do the inner work, start to do the healing, start to do the self-development, whatever you want to call it. It will start to reveal itself. And I'm going to give you guys some consciousness today. So I want to ask you some questions. I want to ask you questions around what brings you joy? Answer that for yourself. What brings you joy? What brings you happiness? A good question. This is an interesting one that I actually got told this the other day. What charms you? And think about that for a second. What really charms you? What intrigues you? What interests you? What gives you energy? What could you do all day, every day, and no one would have to tell you to do it, even if you weren't getting paid to do it? What would you absolutely fucking love to do? And I'm going to give you some more context on that question soon, but I just want you to start exploring. Start to put the consciousness into the life that you live. When you're really energized, when you're really inspired, when you're really happy, when you're really confident, what's the common factors? Because if you start to then look across those areas of your life and you start to find those trends that show up in all those areas of your life, you'll start to find those commonalities. And within that, there's a message. Within that, there's a meaning. Within that is your purpose. So it's just about being conscious and asking those quality questions. What excites me? What would I love to do? What do I love to do? What interests me? What brings me energy? What brings me joy? What brings me excitement? What charms me? And keep looking, guys, because some people say nothing interests me. Bullshit. We all have a gift, and that your gift is to give that back to the world. And then when you attach a monetary structure to that, so you can do what you love and you love what you do, then you're doing what you love every fucking day and you're getting beautifully or handsomely paid to do it. And that's probably a podcast for another day. But get clear on what is it that you fucking love? What inspires you? What do you get excited about just thinking about? I want you to have a bit of a think. If you're listening to this and you got the ability to maybe pause the podcast and maybe write some things down in some notes. If you're driving, probably not possible, but maybe pull over once you've reached your destination. And I'd love for you guys to do this. I don't want this to be a motivational podcast or video. I want you to be practical. Get pen and paper if you're watching me on YouTube or wherever you're watching this. I want you to write it down. Answer those questions. The next point I want to bring you is this is the most practical way I've gone about helping people discover their purpose, helping out discover mine. It is an expression of your highest value. Now, for people that are familiar with my content and people that are in my community group or people that just follow me, is I talk about values a lot. Values, it's the foundation of human behavior. It's the foundation of who we are. And your values is what's intrinsically meaningful to you. And your values come from your voids when you were growing up. We all have a list of priorities of what's intrinsically meaningful to us. And it's individual to everyone, is individual as your fingerprint. You've got a list of a hierarchical of values of what's important to you. And it's unique to you. What's important to you will not be important to someone else. And that's beautiful. Welcome to life. Life is diversity. Life is variety. Life is uncertainty. And that's the beautiful part. So you've got a list of values. And I have a process that we go through of how we determine that. There's a free video on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in Lewis Huckstep values. And there's a free video with a PDF to go through the whole process. It's all complimentary. But you've got a list of values. And your values come from your pains and your voids in your upbringing. I'll use some examples. Say, for me, I really struggled. My family struggled with money growing up. Sometimes we didn't have money to eat certain things. I remember we were going to have a family holiday that never happened. It just always got delayed. Because I guess in hindsight, now that after I matured a little bit, I figured out it's because we didn't have enough money to do so. We struggled with money. I remember I got this memory very much ingrained in me. State of Origin, for the Australians that listen to this or people overseas that know about State of Origin, it's a rugby league football thing that we do. It was Origin night, and I remember there was one year where literally myself, my dad, and my brother were digging through the couch looking for coins, looking for gold coins to afford a drink of for me, of like a soft drink at the pub because we wanted to go watch the football. And we literally were digging for gold coins just to find enough money to buy a drink because we literally had $0. So because money was painful to me growing up, it was a void for me. It's important to me later on in life. It's a high value of mine. It's like people that might have had pain around their image growing up. Maybe you were bullied for the way that you looked, or maybe your weight, or just your appearance, or something like that. So say you had pain around that through either parents or teachers or maybe school bullies, and you had pain around your image, then your presentation, your image might be important to you later. Your pains and your voids create what's meaningful and your values later on. We go through life filling voids essentially. So, and whatever was a bigger pain or a bigger void becomes a bigger value. So the one that was most painful for me, and I'm getting to the point now, is your purpose is an expression of your highest value. So a way you can work this out is you figure out your values. You can do that. Go to my YouTube. You can figure it out for free and then express that. Or you can ask yourself a question I'll get to, is what was your biggest pain and void in your upbringing? What was most painful to you? As an example, maybe you had a very big pain around your family. Maybe there was a lot of chaos in your family dynamic. Maybe the family structure wasn't full of love. It was full of pain, full of arguments, full of, just pain in general. Then your purpose might be to have a beautiful family. To raise a beautiful family, to raise beautiful children, to have a loving relationship. Maybe, for me, this is my purpose, is my biggest pain, and this took a long time. When I first started getting into purpose, mission, vision, values, all that stuff, it wasn't as clear as it is now because I was still figuring out my stuff, healing through my shit, going on my self-development journey. And I had different, purposes that I had written down, but through, a meditation session and some journaling, I got a lot clearer on what mine is. And I was able to identify specifically what was most painful for me. Because I had a lot of pain around people, around social environments. I was quite an anxious, unconfident person growing up, young boy. And I really struggled in social settings. I got diagnosed with Asperger's, as in you're not good with people, you can't learn properly. So I had learning challenges. Learning's my second highest value because I had pain around learning. I got told that you can't learn properly, you're not like others, you're weird, you're stupid, you're dumb. Learning was painful for me. So learning becomes important to me later. Now I love reading. I read every single day. It's literally scheduled into my calendar because it's important to me. But the highest one was that I felt uncomfortable and unsafe to be my authentic self. And when that clicked, which was not that long ago, to be honest, only a couple months ago, and I've been doing purpose, mission, vision, all that stuff for over 2-3 years now, but I just got clear on it. And when I got that refined, that clear on it, just my focus, my energy, my confidence, my willingness and want to help others just went through the roof. So that was what was most painful for me. And I categorized that as coaching. So I didn't have the coach or the ability to communicate or the ability to interact with people. I didn't have the people skills for me to navigate the stresses of life, school, friendships, relationships, family dynamics. It was really, really hard for me. I categorize that as coaching. So an expression of coaching for me is to help reveal people's authentic selves. That's what my purpose is. That's what we're doing right now. So right now, literally, I'm making a podcast or a video to help people be authentic, to get clear on who are they, what are their values, what's their purpose, what's their mission, what's their vision, how do we overcome all the mental and emotional limitations so you can fulfill that purpose. That's what I fucking love doing, and you can probably tell from the tone of my voice because it's come from what was most painful to me. So this might bring up some shit because you might be fresh to your healing journey, which I totally respect. So if it gets a little bit painful going down this path and asking these questions, just learn when to stop, learn when to regulate. I use the interval training example, exposure therapy. So it's like you go to a gym and you start interval training. You might go really hard for 30 seconds and you might sort of burn out, hit your limit. Then you'll come back, regulate, recharge, get back to neutral, then go again. And you might go for 35 seconds. And then same thing, regulate, recharge, go back again, go for 40 seconds, continue. So if you do start to go down this path and start asking these types of questions and you can feel a lot of, I guess, pain coming to the surface, that's cool. That's part of the work. Healing and doing the work is not sunshine and rainbows, ladies and gentlemen. It brings up a lot of shit, a lot of your childhood wounds that you haven't healed through. That's a part of it. So I just encourage you, just I guess as a disclaimer and just a trigger warning, is if you do feel a lot of shit coming up, which is painful, just learn to stop. That's fine. Have a break. And then when you feel regulated and you feel safe and you want to keep going, keep going. So what I would do, guys, to help you get clear on what your purpose is start to be conscious, turn the lights on. Start to reflect now and think about what brings you joy, what brings you love, what brings you excitement. What do you think about? What do you visualize about? What do you talk about? What are you spontaneously inspired to do when you've got no commitments, when you've got nothing to do, like you haven't got work or you haven't got appointments or you haven't got to look after the kids or whatever. What are you inspired to do? What do you find yourself doing? Is it being in nature? Maybe nature's your highest value because maybe you didn't have nature growing up and it was a void for you, or you didn't have the nature that you wanted. So nature might be highest value, which is cool. And your purpose might be, because I personally think we're fucking this planet. This is a different topic for a different day, but I think we are destroying this planet. Like, we are not living sustainably. We will ruin this planet unless we start to, and we are, because we've got people who are making significant change, which is awesome, because they probably have a high value of nature as well. And we've got people that are huge into climate change and huge into renewable energy and huge into sustainable living. So if you've got a high value on nature, then an expression of that might be to really give back to Mother Nature, help reserve and evolve our ways of living so we can live harmoniously with Mother Nature, whatever that may be. So again, there's so many ways you can look at that, but get clear on what brings you joy. What do you love? What do you think about? What are you passionate about? What gives you energy? What do you visualize about? What occupies your mind? What occupies your thoughts? Look for those trends. Go do my values test. Literally go to YouTube and just type in Lewis Huckstep values. Literally just type in it. It's a free video. There's a PDF you can download as well. It's absolutely free. So go do that. Figure out your values. And when you identify your highest value, your purpose is an expression of that one. And again, however you want to do that. Because for me, coaching, that's obviously a very general area. I could coach people doing a million things. Could coach them nutritionally with their stretching. I could coach people with music. I could coach people with a language. There's coaches for everything, right? There's football coaches, soccer coaches, etc. But what specifically for me was painful was I wasn't safe. I didn't feel safe to be my authentic self, to express myself, to regulate my emotions. I was such a unconfident, anxious, unsafe young boy, and it fucking hurt. It really did. So that's where the biggest pain is, and therefore that's where the most drive and purpose is. So I hope this helped. Guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you got value from this. Just to let you guys know, wherever you're listening to this, is I do now run a signature program. It's called Create Your Inspired Life. It's a 12-week program where we go through everything we've gone through today, we go through values, and I guide you through that and how to get it, how to refine it, because you need to learn how to refine them. You get clear on your purpose, your mission, your vision. We go through mental and emotional tools, anxiety, confidence, self-love, self-sabotage, your ego. We go through how to create your master plan for your life. What do you want to do in the next 10 years? Next 5 years, next 12 months, next quarter, next month, next week, and today. Daily outcomes. I go through all of it. How much income do you need for you to live the life of your dreams, to have your dream life, to live an inspired life? How much income do you need? Let's work it out. Then what vehicle are you going to use to allow you to earn that income so you can do what you love and love what you do? It's all included in that program. If that is something that you're interested in, guys, I will be promoting it. It's if you're interested in that, just connect with me on Instagram, connect with me in my Facebook group, connect with me. However, you can email me if you want, lewishuckstep@gmail.com, whatever you want to do. Connect with me. I'd love to serve you guys. It's a life-changing program, and I can't wait to serve you guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. I love you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one, and thank you so much for being part of the video.